All right, welcome on a very muggy Monday. It's actually going to almost start getting nice here in the great state of Alabama, uh, which means it's almost pollen season. If you haven't done so, hit like and subscribe to the bell. We're talking about conjugates, and no, not that type of visits. Okay, if you don't know that joke, never mind. Let's just keep going. So, previously on Friday, we did the Captain Insano method where we poked out the eye. This time, this is when the denominator is a binomial. Binomial means two terms, okay? Two terms that we cannot combine. All right. Please excuse my voice. It's, kind of. I almost sound like Phoebe when she gets. Does anybody watch Friends? When Phoebe gets a cold and she's singing, she's like, my stinky shoes. Okay. Anyways. All right. So this is, if you can't do this part right here, you can't do the main thing. Okay. So as we're looking at this, what is on the bottom? Well, this is 1 minus 3i. Okay. Remember, as this is written down, this is how I think in my head. What is the opposite, or what is the opposite of the sign of the bottom? So this is a minus. So the opposite would be a positive. Thank you. Okay. Now we write the same terms with the opposite sign. So I'm going to write 1 and 3i up here, 1 and 3i up here. And instead of a minus, I do a plus. Okay. That's really the main part of this lesson. Because if you can't do this, there's no way you're going to get anywhere near the real number. Huh? All right. So do you remember last week? Maybe, maybe not. Where we had like um, this right here, the 3 over 5i, and we multiplied by the I on top and bottom. So what we're doing, we're actually, when we say the same thing on top and bottom, it's another way to write 1. Basically, math people are cheaters. Okay, that's a way to cheat. Okay, we're lazy. Okay, some people are like, oh, I knew it. All right, so now with this conjugate, we're only focusing on the bottom, the denominator. Okay, so for this, we have 6 plus 8i. So we put our terms right here. And then this sign is a plus, so what's the opposite of plus? Yeah, negative or minus. Subtract, difference. This one, okay? That's the main thing. All right, y'all ready for it to get hard yet? No? Good. All right, so now 10 and 5i. All right, so this is a plus. Again, the opposite of that would be a minus. Okay. I know some of y'all are like, why? Look, this is actually how we will, because when you multiply, when you have a binomial, to get rid of it, rid of that I, you have to multiply by a binomial with a different sign. We're going to get to that on the back, but we have to get this part understood first. All right. So negative 8, 7i. Ooh. And then the opposite would be a plus. Okay. The only thing that changes is that sign in the middle, not the one out front, just the one in the middle. Okay. Because I'm stuck in the middle with you. All right, no, never mind. All right, so -2, -2. All right, this is a plus, so the opposite of that is a minus. Okay, 2, 2, 5i, 5i. This is a minus, so we put a plus. All right, so this is the big thing right here. Okay, I'm working. See, tomorrow we're going to have a pre-practice test. Your test is Thursday. Okay, I moved it to Thursday for a couple of reasons. Number one, I wanted to. Number two, Miss Sparks wanted me to. And number three, I need a weekend to get over my weekend. Okay, and I think some of y'all do too, because I know some of y'all are really excited about not this Friday but next Friday. Because next Friday, the 8th, that's our last day before spring break. I might be able to sleep till like 6:30 every day. It'd be amazing. Which is kind of funny that we're having spring break when we are, because that Sunday after that we start spring break, that's when the time changes back. We jump forward. So you actually kind of have a week to get semi back into the swing of the new time. All right, to the back. All right, this is the best way I could figure out how to do this. Okay, this is the best way I figured out how to do this. Okay, yes, believe it or not, this is how my brain works when I do these problems. Okay, I know some of y'all are like, I'm kind of worried about you. Well, you should be. Now, tee hee. All right, here's our problem right here. All right, what is the conjugate of this? What's the only thing that changes? Yeah, this is now a positive. Okay, so what we have to, golly, Pete, maybe I needed that cough drop. I'm about, I dropped it. I'm about to sound like I got a gift from a student today. It's Dwayne the Frock Johnson. Okay. It's the rock's head on a frog. Okay. All right, moving on. So we're going to multiply. What now? Oh, okay. I have students, they sit on the back and they still sit there and do this, and I'm trying to zoom it in. It doesn't work. All right. So now, the reason why we kind of have like this flow chart looking thing is there's a lot going on. Okay. So I cannot do all this at the same time. I have to compartmentalize. So I'm going to do the top up here. So we'll have to use distributive property. Okay. Now, what is 2 times 1? 2. What is 2 times 3? 6. So this becomes 2 plus 6i. Okay. So we've got that part done. We're done with it. Now we can focus on this other thing. All right. This right here. This is where some people are going to kind of lose it. This right here is the Jeffries cheat code, okay? Because instead of having to take these and put them in the box or do double distributed property, this is this pattern. This always happens, okay? So I take my first term. What is my first term right here? What's the first one written in each part? 1. Very good. All right. And it's minus whatever my second term is. Well, my second term is 3i. Okay. And we square those. So what is 1 squared? 1 minus, all right, 3i squared. Well, that's 3i times 3i, which is 9i squared. All right. And what did we learn about that I squared last week? It does what to the number in front of it? Yeah, it changes its sign. Okay. So now we have 1 minus 9, which minus a negative becomes plus a positive. Okay. I need to change that to different colors because that needs to be. Okay. All right. Now, what this one's hard. This is the hardest part of the whole problem. What is 1 plus 9? Okay. Good job. You got the hard one. All right. So now, can this reduce? Can we divide something out of 2, 6, and 10 evenly? Yeah. So we can. We're going to say yes. And we're going to divide a 2 out of everything. All right. So what is 10 divided by 2? What is 2 divided by 2? 1. What is 6 divided by 2? This is our answer. Yep. It is. The question is, how do we get 10 in the I squared? So remember, this is 9 times negative 1. And so we had minus negative 9 right here. See how I plugged in the negative 9? This equals negative 9. That's this right here. So minus a negative becomes plus a positive. Okay. Yeah, minus a negative. It's like a negative times a negative. Yes. When in doubt, calculate it out. Okay. I know some of y'all are like, I don't want to use a calculator. It's a crutch. It's a tool. Okay. Like if you go to have your car worked on, you go to the mechanic and all he's got is a hammer and Phillips head screwdriver. He's not going to be very productive. Use the tool. I don't think he's that good. All right. Now, are y'all supposed to understand everything after that one problem? No. So let's do this. I have even set up for you to multiply your conjugate. Okay? So, our conjugate should be this with what type of operator in the middle? What is this now? Minus. Very good. Okay? Now, remember, now we're about to do this as it works in Mr. Jeffrey's brain. Okay? So brace yourselves. All right? What is 5 times 6? 30. What is 5 times 8? 40. And then we stick the I right there. Very good. All right. Now, this is where, this is that bottom box right here. Okay, what's our first term? 6. What's our second term? 8i. Okay, we're just going to kind of leave it right there. Or, it. There's a couple ways you could do it. Some people leave it, some people don't. It's 6 of one, half dozen of another. So tag this along. All right. What is 6 squared? What is 6 times 6? 36. Minus, okay, 8 times 8 is, yeah, 64 I squared. Okay. So what happens? What does this I squared do to the 64? Bless you. Makes it a negative. All right. Oh, that was a bad arrow. All right. What? Where? Who said what? Okay. I was like, all I did was draw an arrow and a line. I got really confused. All right. So up top, we're going to have 30 minus 40i. Okay. What is 36 minus negative 64? It's the same thing as adding. Close. All right. So if when in doubt, calculate it out. All right. 36 minus negative 64 is actually 100. Where'd y'all get 94? Okay, I was like, all right, you weren't. Okay, all right. Because I know y'all were trying to do some of that stuff. Well, my teacher told me that you can add these, and that's yeah. All right. Some people that works. That does not work with me. All right. Can this reduce? Can we divide anything out of this? Yeah. All right. So what's 30 divided by 10? What's 40 divided by 10? What's 10 divided by 10? Now, was that a long process? Yes. For only like one. And I hadn't decided. I may actually have it set up if this guided practice doesn't go well today. I may have that problem set up like our example. I hadn't decided yet. I'm thinking about it. So, all right. So after doing, let's not make a decision yet after just doing one of these. Okay. Let's do the other two and see if we like the non flow chart or the flow chart better. Okay. And while we have some time, hey, Lily, what do bees put on their sushi? Wasabi. All right. Are we good with this one? Do we need to move on? Is anybody awake? It's like Jonestown the morning after. I can't get a response from anybody. All right. Number 7. Here's our conjugate. Okay. All right. Since this is our conjugate, we start multiplying. What is negative 1 times negative 8? 8. Good job. What is negative 1 times 7? Negative 7i. All right. Our first term is negative 8. Our second term okay, okay, well, negative 8 squared is 8 times 8, we know is 64. All right, minus this is, see, 7 squared, this is 49 I squared, which becomes negative 49. All right, 64 minus negative 149 is 113. And guess what? It doesn't reduce, so that's our answer. Yeah, I love it when I teach this lesson for the past bajillion years. I show the first problem, they're like, "Oh my gosh, how many of these are we going to have on the test?" That's the first question people ask, and it's usually like one. Wow, could be more. Y'all want more? Are you sure? I don't know. Huh? 4 or 5? We could just make the whole test this. I'm going to jump out the window. Oh, you missed it the other day. I forget which day it was last week. There was an Army recruiter up at the top of the landing. And I said, now, if you were a good recruiter, you would jump off that and show kids how you're on land when you go to airborne school. He didn't. He laughed, but he did not have his airborne wings, so he was not going to try that. All right, now because I did a lot of copy and pasting on Friday, our problems go 6, 7, 6. There we go. That looks like an 8. I mean, I think it's funny. So here's our conjugate. Oops. About messed up big. Okay. All right, so I'm ready to multiply. So I say 10 times 10, 100. 10 times 5, 50. So, oh gosh, can't do nothing. All right. So on top, nothing really changes. Okay, this becomes 100 minus, this is 25i squared. This becomes negative 25. All right. 100 minus negative 25 is, 125. And we can reduce. Now, I'm making y'all reduce. It may or may not happen on the test. If I can pay attention. Squirrel. This is 4 minus 2i. And that's it. Ta-da! All right. So, as y'all say, real talk. For real, for real. What format do you like better? Do you like the 676 with the flow chart, or do you like the flow chart like the example? 676 got less going on. Well, we'll see. We may try one tomorrow with the flow chart on the pre-practice test, see how that goes, and you know, just experiment. You know, just throwing stuff out there. Yeah, I'll scroll back to the last 6. Okay. So from me and Dwayne the Frog Johnson here, don't forget, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell. Good stuff. Good things. Roll Tide.